Thanks for watching another episode of UCRD Reviews. So this time we have the Hy-Gogg, the MSM-03C, in the version anime line of robot spirits. So this is a variant of the Gogg from Mobile Suit Gundam, and this one hails from Gundam 0080 War in the Pocket, from the infamous scene where the Zeon Special Forces team infiltrates the Federation's Antarctica base in search of their new Gundam. So this is an amphibious mobile suit, and I normally don't buy amphibious suits. They have kind of an odd design to them. But this one here, I had to go ahead and get because it looks a lot better, I think, than some of the other like Mobile Suit Gundam MSV type amphibious suits. And it looks kind of crazy, but it's well done. So I'm really excited to see how this goes. The Hy-Gogg's a pretty menacing mobile suit, and it took down quite a few cold climate GMs in the anime. So I want to see what they did in figure form here. So I believe this is the first time we've got a Hy-Gogg figure. It was very underrepresented when 0080 was airing in the US, and the MSIA line just never really picked it up. But we have it now, and I wasn't originally going to pick it up, but everybody loved the figures that they got so much, I decided to go ahead and get one. So going through the articulation, you have every segment is articulated. The shoulder's got a ton of movement. The shoulder armor has some cool detail underneath here, like some wiring and stuff. The claws are actually articulated in two different spots, here and up here, and they all move. You have a hard point in the hand there for effect parts. The missile pods are sculpted in down here, and then all these up here. All the feet fold out. Now, the Hy-Gogg's a pretty short figure. Most of your regular mobile suits are taller than it, but it is quite large. You have some good articulation there, no exposed joints at all. So it looks really, really good. You can remove the head, and this exposes the movable mono-eye. It can look down and up, and then you can move it all around, and that just pops right back on. This visor piece folds up, although it's not easy to get it to do it. And I have no nails, so that makes it even harder, so we're just going to have to do it this way. So that folds up, and we'll go over why it does that in a little bit. This is the rear of it. You do have the stand piece. You do have movable thrusters back here that are compatible with effect parts. You have a hard point there for the external booster pack, and hard points here as well. So it looks really, really good. The paint's spot on. It has the vernier details that you need. It has the Special Forces insignia, so let's check out some of the accessories here. So you're probably thinking, what could the Hy-Gogg possibly come with outside of just effect parts? And they actually included some really neat stuff here. So on your Hy-Gogg, you want to remove all of the claws here. They're real easy to remove. You don't have to worry about breaking them or anything. And you're going to replace them with these bent ones, so they're curved over like that, and they just pop right in. And I'll get to the point here of why we're doing this. This is actually a really cool thing that they've been doing with these 0080 figures, is including parts that can recreate scenes from the anime that aren't just, effect parts. They're real specific parts for the scenes. So you're going to need one more piece here. You'll need your GM cold climate, if you have one. And we're going to remove this and this. And you're left with a GM with a hole in his head. The reason for that is you're going to take this little piece here. It's a little tiny peg piece. You don't want to lose it. And it's going to go right into the hand, like so. And then I'm going to move my Hy-Gogg around here. I'm going to move all these out of the way. This will actually plug right into the GM's head. And you can put all the claws down on him and make it look like the Hy-Gogg is grabbing onto his head, kind of like what happened in the anime when a Hy-Gogg grabbed one and used it as a shield. So very, very cool that they even bothered to include this. And then we're going to go ahead and remove this spider-like grip. So if you have a GM cold climate, definitely look into posing it like that, because that's a really neat thing that they included. So one really neat addition here that you can do with the figure is actually convert it into its underwater cruising mode. So you'll take the Hy-Gogg and you're actually going to tear the leg off there. And you'll do this for each leg. The legs actually have quite a bit of articulation. You know, this little piece moves down. The feet can lock into place or be pulled out for more articulation. So you're actually going to rip the knee joint off right there. I believe it's this piece. And so it's curved, and you want to curve it forward toward the front of the Hy-Gogg, and it'll lock right into place. So we're going to do it for the other leg here. So here's the other leg. And remove that and make sure it's curved forward. So there you are. And now you just reattach the legs like so. And your Hy-Gogg is even shorter than it was before. You fold the I guess toes. I don't like calling them toes, but they're toes. Just fold these down like that. And so we have the legs done. And now the arms are going to be a little more complicated. So you're actually going to remove them way up here in the shoulder. They just pull right off. And then you're going to remove it down here. And you should be left with this. And you're going to take one of these canisters here. If I can actually grab it. There we go. And you're going to remove this back piece. So once you have the back piece removed, you'll notice in here there's two pegs and then kind of a slanted piece here. And there's two little holes here. The pegged parts are going to go right on there, and it snaps right into place. You hear this thing rolling around. This will actually go over and lock. Very, very easy. So we're going to do it to the other arm here. So I'm going to remove it from the shoulder. And we'll take this off. That one came out a lot easier. We pop this off. And we want to line up these pieces. Yep, I'm doing it right. There we go. Alright. And this little piece rolled away from me. Put the claws together. And that's it. So one little trick you can do here is to actually take the arms like this and attach them. There we go. Because these pieces are actually pretty easy to slide on. And the reason we're doing that is because if you put the whole arm on like this, you can end up crushing this, because this is 3 panels and it just falls apart and it's a big old mess. So it's a little easier to do it this way. Close that off there. And then, so there's that much of it. And then we actually have this here. So this is the external propellant tank, or backpack, booster pack, whatever you want to call it. It does have this very flimsy, very thin antenna. You do get an extra one. It's way up here in the corner. So you want to make sure that thing doesn't go flying and you don't notice it, because you'll probably break this if it falls, for sure. And that actually attaches right back here. And then you can just close up the shoulders. Let's move the shoulders kind of in. And then you can close the visor like so. And you have the Hy-Gogg in its cruiser form. So it looks really, really good. You can take a stand here and just put it right like that. So it's got the big old missile pods over here, and then it's got its backpack on it. So now let's actually get into some of the effect parts we get. So before we jump into the effect parts, I wanted to show that you do get numbered symbols that are like little decals that you can put on the Hy-Gogg, which is kind of neat. So I'm going to put that aside. So one, since we have the Hy-Gogg still in its cruiser form, you do get these. You get two of these. So these are kind of a booster effect. This is supposed to recreate when they were coming out of the water. That's why it's clear. It's not fiery. And it's supposed to go to this backpack here as opposed to its standard thrusters. And it kind of simulates it breaking out of the water and flying up to the base. And it looks really, really good. So it's kind of a unique effect part, and it looks really nice. The Hy-Gogg also comes with this effect part. So this is supposed to be kind of a beam cannon effect. Now, the Hy-Gogg in the anime fired more of a machine gun-like effect out of its hands. But I suppose maybe it was difficult to make such an effect. I really don't know, but this is the effect we got to recreate that. I don't think it's anywhere near animation accurate. I mean, I appreciate that we got the effect, but it was a little unnecessary and inaccurate, unfortunately. The final effect piece here is going to be much more complicated on the surface, but I'll show you how to make it more simple. So this is it. So you want to first find where it breaks, and you want to pull all these smoke effects off. And you're left with this ring. You do have an extra one, I guess, in case it breaks, because it's only being held together by that pin. And so you want to remove your Hy-Gogg's arm, and you're actually going to plug this piece specifically into there. Now this piece here is actually a panel. You can plug your stand into the Hy-Gogg's arm for stability if you're holding a GM cold climate, for example. Now this should, let's see here. Should just plug right in, hypothetically, just like that. So this peg piece here is going to be forward as opposed to facing backward. It looks kind of funny when you're trying to plug it in, but that's how it goes, and then it'll just clip right like that. So next you're going to take one of these and you're going to remove this back piece. And then this piece, you kind of have to play with it and get it to kind of line up correct. But it should line up the same way as before. There we go. And so now it should look just like this. Now that you have that on there, you're going to want to reattach the arm to the Hy-Gogg. if it'll let you. There we go. Lots of plasticky noises being made that don't sound too good, but everything's good. And next you'll take these smoke effect parts. So each one of these is actually unique. And I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but there's actually a little 3 right there. So they're actually numbered. So on here, 3, for example, actually goes in this bottom peg, and it fits in just like that. I'm going to turn the arm up a little bit. And then this one, let me take a look here. This is number 2. So 2 will go over here, like so. And they fit right in place. If you try and fit the wrong one, it won't go at all. And then 1 will go on top, like that. And next what you're going to want to do, and you see the arm gets kind of heavy, so we're going to let it rest there. You're going to break this apart. So this piece, I'm going to be kind of careful with it, but it'll all come apart. It's just held together by like friction. So each one of these little panels here will go in a slot up here. If you can get it in there we go. These you kind of have to like stuff them in there, but they'll sit right like that. And then you have one on this side, like so. There we go. Get all of them in there. So then you're left with this here. Now you have this effect piece, which is the missile firing effect. And that'll plug into the hand. And then you have the actual missile here. It comes with 2 of them, I suppose, in case one breaks or you lose one, which is kind of an odd piece to include a backup for. And then at the bottom of this, you'll see right there is actually a hole. So if you angle the arm just right, this whole thing will sit on a stand. If I can get my stand together correctly. And it'll just plug right in like so. Now my stand's not the right height at all, but it is a pretty neat looking setup there. And it's not that hard. I mean, once you figure out what to do and you really need to pay attention to the directions, it's pretty easy to get it to do what you want it to do. This release really did the mobile suit justice for being its first figure. The Hy-Gogg in the 0080 line is exactly what an anime figure should be. You know, it comes with all the effect parts it needs. It can do all the different things that the Hy-Gogg does in the anime. You can pretty much recreate any scene with this figure, and no matter what you do with it, it looks phenomenal all the way through. And the little details that they put into it are what really make this figure shine. I mean, there's just so many good aspects to it. I'm really glad that I bought it. It was worth definitely what I paid for it, and I would even go as far as to say it's worth the original, 7,000 plus yen retail that it was originally going for. I mean, it's a beautiful looking figure. If you find one, absolutely pick it up because it's worth every penny.